Hi everyone. So I have kind of a neat lock here today. What I'm going to be picking is this Assa V10. So this is a twin series lock with two locking mechanisms. The neat thing about this one is the formatting of it. So this lock is a Mogul cylinder. So you can see right here, this thing is huge. I grabbed, this is a regular Assa Twin 6000. So just for comparative purposes, you can see how much larger the Mogul cylinder is. It's more than twice as large as this regular cylinder. Now, from a picking perspective, that doesn't really do anything. So why is this thing so huge? These, as I understand it, are generally used in high security applications where you want as much destructive protection for the lock as you can possibly get. So this thing obviously is solid metal, so it would be very difficult for somebody to destroy it. Now, you know, a drilling attack would be focused just on the plug. So in addition to this massive piece of metal that surrounds it, it's also got this face covering here. So the plug slides in just like this. If I can get it in here. So in addition to the plug, you've got to drill through this probably quarter-inch solid piece of steel that would be covering it. So it doesn't really impact the picking, but again, provides a lot of resistance to destructive attacks. As far as what is in this lock from a picking standpoint, it's very similar to something like the Assa Twin Maximum, for example, or kind of like a Twin 6000 with barrels, but the side pins are very different. They're more similar to a Twin Maximum. So I've got this all gutted. You can see here we've got our standard Assa barrel pins there. We've got our sidebar, which is probably very familiar to people if they have ever seen the inside of an Assa Twin series lock before. We've got our matched milling here in the plug. You can see the double lines there for barrel milling. And then the side pins are where it differs from a lot of the other locks. So Artichoke 2000 has a really great video where he goes through all of the different Assa side pins, so I'm not gonna bother showing you the difference here. Go check out that video if you're interested. But I'll just note visually from looking at these, the Assa Twin series, like the Twin 6000 side pins, have they're cylindrical. They do not have these nubs on the bottom that extend into the keyway. You're lifting the pin itself rather than that nub right there you can see. In addition, the false gates on the 6000 series are much deeper than these. So you can see there's some shallow false gates there above and below the true gate. The true gate is only on the side of the lock or of the pin that faces the sidebar. It goes about halfway through the pin, you can see there. The false gates go all the way around. I noted on the Twin Maximum that I picked, the false gates are just on the side facing the sidebar as well. So I'm not sure why these ones go all the way around. It's either just a machining difference or who knows if it was like patent protection or something along those lines. Sometimes weird things in locks are done just so that they can extend a patent. So, but there you go. You can kind of bull yourself through those false gates. They're definitely not as difficult as a Twin 6000, where the false gates tend to lock up very hard. And you have to be very careful getting out of them. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about here. We'll get this in the vise and get it picked. I had to use a extra long tensioner just because you do have to reach through this drill protection plate to get back into the plug. But other than that, standard short hook for picking the barrels. And then I used multi-pick, this is a number 10, for picking the side pins. So the small flag facing to the left. So there you go. We'll get this up and get it picked. An Assa V10 Mogul cylinder. All right, I've got my V10 Mogul here. There's my key. I'm gonna pick this going counterclockwise. First thing I'm gonna have to do is set these barrels. Barrels tend to act tapered in the beginning as you work them all up into the milling. And then I should get a little bit of a false set, which tells me it's time to start lifting them out of the milling. Okay, I got a little bit of movement right there. So now I'm just going to lift these out of their milling. I'm jiggle testing the barrels to see which ones feel very stiff. That means that they're locked up in the milling and they need to be lifted out. I'm gonna check the sidebar here. I don't think, well, maybe it is. Okay, I got some binding on the second side pin, which means maybe that the barrels are all set. So let me check some of the other side pins here. Maybe not. So typically this particular lock binds all top stacks and then all sidebar. At least when I got it open before, that's what it did. So that's what I'm checking for, is once this sidebar starts binding, that usually means that the barrels are all set. I'm still not getting the kind of binding I want here, so I must be missing something. I'm getting some good sets here out of these front pins. You can hear I'm getting kind of 2 clicks out of all of them. It's because that barrel milling is in 2 lines, and so you have to click out of both of them. Okay, the sidebar feels like it's binding now, which would be excellent. I think on this sidebar, I do have to lift a couple of these pins up into false gates before other pins start to bind. One of these is really low lift, so I want to avoid that. Okay, got a little bit of movement there. It tells me I'm probably stuck in a false gate on one of these. Maybe this one back here. One feels all right, 2 feels all right, 3 feels all right. I think 4 is okay. Oh, there we go. A little tap on 5. Okay, there's an open. Let's get this gutted. You can see how massive this thing is. I'm just going to manipulate the cam here so that you can see that it's open. It's got this ridiculously long tailpiece. And locked back up. Okay. I'm actually gonna gut the top stacks through these grubbed screws holes here. This is going to take me a minute because these holes are really deep, so it actually takes a while for the grub screws to come out. Okay, I'm just going to dump these because they are barrels, and so it doesn't matter what their orientation is. Oh, this is number 6. Oops, spring fell out there. All right, spring, barrel, driver. Oh, key pin, not driver. I've never fully gutted this. I've gutted the top stacks, but never the plug, so hopefully I don't run into any issues there, but we'll find out. Last top stack. Okay, there's all the barrel drivers. You can see there. And now let's see about taking this plug out. How gigantic this thing is, but you can see the sidebar groove there. It's a little dirty inside. Grab the sidebar. So you can see the sidebar bitting. All the gates are in place. Put that there. And there you can see the bitting for the side pins. All right, let's take these out. Oh, there's how they look on the bottom. Woo! That thing shot out there. Let's flip that around. Oh man, another one lost. Okay, I'm gonna leave this gigantic drill protection piece. I'm gonna leave the springs in the plug, but they're there. All right, let's take a closer look here. There you have all the pieces from this V10 Mogul. Oh, barrel milling. Check that out. So you can see the double lines on the milling there. It does catch. And I'll show the other side because this is the side that I would interact because of the way I was picking it. So it is there and present. And let's look at some of these pieces. Closer detail here. So there is one of our barrel drivers as normal. Nothing special on the key pins. And let's take a look at one of our side pins here. Let's take a look at high lift side pin. So you can see there's the true gate and false gates above and below. The false gates on this side pin go all the way around, which is interesting as compared to the Maximum Plus or the Twin Max that I picked recently, where these false gates were just on the side of the pin that would be facing where the sidebar was. And then you can see the bottom of these two. They've got this, just this one little piece here that would extend down into the keyway. And then you can see, so similarly, false gates there. You can kind of click through those false gates. They are not as deep as the false gates on like an Assa Twin 6000. I'll look at the sidebar one more time, just so that you can see that. All right, there we go. That is an Assa V10. This particular format is a Mogul cylinder, which is why it's so huge, but that really doesn't impact picking other than this gigantic anti-drill protection plate that you have to make sure that your tensioner fits through. All right, all picked and gutted. There we go. Thank you for watching.